So the Southern Fried Films Festival, and if Treviet were here, we would have a very different conversation about how where her upbringing and stuff. But I want to focus more on just the festival and of course your involvement, and of course we'll talk about Treviet. But let's start with she. Let's just kind of start with back in like the 2018 timeframe, and she calls you because she understands that you had moved back to Alabama, right?
Well, so I was in New York for work and I knew she lived in New York and I reached out and I was like, hey, do you want to go have lunch or something in town? I'll be in the area. She goes, oh my gosh, yes. So we just connected for lunch and I was in the airport flying home and I get a phone call from her and she goes, hey, so I've been thinking, and you know what Huntsville needs? We need a film festival. And you're in Huntsville now, so you want to do this with me? I was like, yes, I do. Absolutely. So we just started rolling with it from there.
Did you have any prior experience in your acting career with festivals?
I mean, I've had films in film festivals,
Yeah.
of course, and then friends who have had many films and film festivals. So it's just really been from an actor standpoint, and then friends of mine who are editors or cinematographers whose films have made the circuit.
Right.
But as far as producing and what all is entailed in that, I was very naive in everything that needs to happen to make it successful.
But what was it about you at that time that you had the confidence to be like, oh yeah, let's do this. I got you.
I think because I was here back in Huntsville and I really love film, obviously. I mean, I love the way you can tell stories through film and the way it connects people and starts conversations and you can challenge ideas and also introduce new concepts in a very kind of a safer way than, as opposed to theater, which is in your face at that moment. And I actually didn't really have a full-time job, so I had time, and I think I was a little bit, I didn't want to set aside my creative hat.
Okay.
And also just, when Treviet's involved, it's like, yes, I'm in.
Got it.
Yeah.
She's just that kind of leader or
yes,
just makes things happen.
Yeah, her vision is just so inspiring and exciting. And so you can't help but be around that energy and be around her and just like, yes, we can do this. Like, this is going to happen. We can absolutely do this. So
do you think if this question is based in the fact that now we have the Orion, later I'll have a playbill from when you went to the Broadway Theater League that we have. But, I've only been here 2 years, but from what I understand, of course, Huntsville's changed. It's changing, it's growing, it's expanding. Do you think that if this was like 2009 and Treviet calls you and says, hey, I'm thinking about doing this film festival, do you think you would have been saying the same thing back then? Like, was Huntsville even ready for something like that? Was Kelley ready for something like that even 10 years ago?
I think Kelley would have been ready for that. I don't think Huntsville would have been ready for that. That's a good question. It's a good point. I think that because the wonderful thing about Huntsville, I grew up here, right?
Right.
But I moved away when I was 17, and it is a very different Huntsville in a lot of beautiful ways. And I think because so many people like yourself are moving in who have had their lens is very broad and they've had a lot of different experiences. Now, Huntsville has always been very supportive of the arts. That's one thing about Huntsville. I mean, fine arts between ballet, theater, music, the symphony, they have always been incredibly supportive of arts. It's a very art-focused city, but for film and what film festivals really are, we're not bringing the Marvel movies. We're not bringing, something that you can go down to the AMC. It really is an independent film. And to celebrate those voices where you may not know any of the actors in the film, to the average person why would you want to go see that? Tom Hanks isn't in that movie. Meryl Streep isn't in that movie. Why would you want to go? So I think in 2009, I don't think Huntsville would have been ready. But I think right now, with how many people are coming in and just who are in towns who have festivals.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been mentioning that. I just had this kind of aha moment at some point in the last 30 or 40 episodes. We've talked about it a few times where There's a lot of people coming from primary markets. Obviously, if you live in New York or LA or Chicago, those are massive cities, or Atlanta. And then you come here and you want to continue with that lifestyle. And you're asking those questions as to, well, I want to have this and why don't we have that? And I would argue, obviously, in the last 10 or 12 years, most likely particularly under Mayor Battle, they have seen that, right? Or it's kind of this call to action to put money in those things to allow this city to be something.